afternoon, YouTube. Coming at you with the next edition of the Daily Slab. I don't usually do these in the afternoon, but today's ride-in was a little hectic, so I didn't have a chance to do it then, and I figured I'd go ahead and fire this one off this afternoon and get it completed. So, the weather out today is absolutely beautiful riding weather. It's about 70 degrees. Got just a little bit of coolness to it, which lends itself to riding with gear on and very comfortable riding weather. I've been experimenting with a new sound setup on my bike. Now right now I'm back to my old setup with the microphone stuck in the helmet, and that way I can do this vlog. But I've been working with the microphone being clamped to my rear tail light indicator with the recorder being in the saddlebag. And it seems to really give off a pretty good sound, at least in my opinion. It gives a pretty true representation of the exhaust and how it actually sounds if you're running the bike with a half helmet or no helmet, which I don't ever do. But if you're running the bike with a half helmet, you generally get a totally different sound than when you're running with a full face helmet on. So I've been really pleased with it so far. It seems to do pretty well. The mic setup that I have on, I'm using a Sony ECM CS3, I think is the name of it. But I ended up starting off with a homemade dead cat, using some of that faux fur that you can buy online or at the fabric store. And that worked reasonably well, but I still got a good bit of wind noise. So what I ended up doing, I found another do-it-yourself technique on YouTube that seemed to work pretty well. I took the microphone with the dead cat around it, and then I got two small balloons, cut them in half, took the ends of those balloons and wrapped it around each end of the microphone, and then zip tied that down. It took the wind noise that you get and definitely improved it. You still get a little bit, but it definitely is better than it was. Now the sound that you're hearing today, the wind noise, that is not the wind noise from the microphone. Since I put it on the back of the bike, I have discovered that all that wind noise is coming from my helmet. So as soon as I can work up the funds to get a replacement helmet, I'll make sure I get one that does a little bit better as far as wind noise is concerned inside the helmet. This helmet is fairly old. It's at least 5 years old. I think it just went past its expiration date. It's an HJC helmet, but it was not a super fancy helmet when I bought it, and it definitely has some wind noise that kicks through it, and that's what you hear on this vlog. But anyways, the main topic I wanted to cover today was to kind of give you an update on how I'm doing with the Road King so far. I bought this Road King towards the end of February, at least I think it was the end of February, and I have put on 3,067 miles. So it's gotten a reasonable amount of riding in, considering it's just the middle of March here. So far, I have to say I am 100% satisfied with the Road King. There's a couple little minor annoyances that I have, but every bike's got those. But as far as rideability, the handling, the way it rolls down the highway, I've got absolutely no complaints. It's the Milwaukee 8, that 107 is a fabulous engine, and made it up to the 6-speed transmission they've got in this thing. This bike can run all day with no hitches whatsoever. I ride it at least 100 miles a day when I go on my commute, and then usually I ride at night as well. So I'm putting anywhere from 100 to 300 miles on the bike during a given day, depending on what my riding schedule is for that day and what the weather is. I've been very happy. I have a pretty large mix of riding. My commute is primarily highway, but we have places that I go for my job throughout southeast Michigan, and so I end up being on the side roads quite a bit, and it has just performed very well. I've had a couple quick stop situations where I've had to lay on the brakes pretty hard. This bike is not equipped with ABS. I elected not to go with that, which in hindsight, I think it probably would have been worth the $700. But overall, with the Brembo brakes that are on it, it handled itself very well. I just had to. This is the first bike I've had with ABS or without ABS in the last 4 years. Is the first one, and so I had to get used again to not just staying on the brakes whenever I feel them locking up. So that worked out okay, thank God. But quick stops, you definitely have to stay on top of it, but it definitely stops very well. As far as riding down the road, when you're cruising on the highway, the bike is big enough and heavy enough that you can ride in fairly high winds. I mean, you're still going to get kicked around a little bit, but overall it handles very, very well. The thing that I love about riding the 17 Road King on the highway is with that Milwaukee 8, you never feel like you're lacking for power, at least at the speeds I've gone, which I've not gone. I haven't had the bike over 90, and I probably won't ever have the bike over 90. But there's never, anytime I call for power to get around a car, if I'm passing someone, it's always there. To give an example, I roll on the throttle, and I mean, I've instantly got that push to roll around the guy without feeling that anemic push that you get from the 103 when you were riding in 6th gear and needed a little bit more power. So I've got to say, cruising for a touring bike, to me this bike ticks off all the boxes. I've got a windshield that I can easily take on and off, so I can ride the bike without a windshield. In fact, I do that quite regularly in the evening. And then I've got a bike with full shield and touring package, touring suspension that I can use to commute back and forth on the highway, and I am very much looking forward to taking on quite a few road trips this year. So at the 3,000 mile mark, or a little bit above it, I am at this point 100% satisfied. Oh, I did want to talk real quick. One of the little minor annoying things, and I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is, actually. But when I am at a stoplight and it's idling, I get a little bit of a squeak. I mean, I'd swear it was a belt that was loose. But it doesn't do it all the time. Every once in a while, and it's not very loud. It's just a little bit of a chirp every once in a while. I had the Harley dealership look at it. They said there was nothing wrong. Of course, that's typical, they would say that, but they said there was nothing wrong, so, you know, it doesn't affect anything. I'm hoping that as the engine wears in more, that'll eventually go away, or we'll eventually track down what that chirping noise is. So, like I said, it doesn't occur all the time, but it does happen on occasion. And then I'm still getting used to the hydraulic clutch. This is the first bike I've had with the well, actually I think my Night Rod had a hydraulic clutch, but it handled differently. But on this bike, I mean, there's no, at least it doesn't feel like there's any gradual on or engagement of the clutch. It's either on or off, and so I still find myself being somewhat jerky with my acceleration coming out of first gear, second gear. I'm getting better at it, but it's definitely taken me some time to get used to that hydraulic clutch. So if you do end up buying a 2017 Road King, just keep in mind that hydraulic clutch may take a little getting used to. It's not a problem. I actually like it because it's not as hard to pull the clutch in, which is, you know, a lot more relaxing when you're on a long ride. So I don't have any complaints about it. Just taking me some getting used to. The other thing that has taken me some getting used to is the cylinder shut off. When it engages on this bike, which is actually quite frequently, especially as the weather's warmed up, just about every stoplight I come to, that cylinder shut off is going to engage, which is fine, helps keep the engine cool. But the one thing you have to be careful of is when you go to take off, you want to roll the throttle just a little bit, just enough to get the cylinder to engage again before you actually roll the throttle to engage the clutch. And the reason being is if I engage the clutch while it's still operating in that cylinder shut-off mode, it is really easy to stall the bike. And so you want to roll the throttle just a little bit, just enough to kick it out of that cylinder shut-off mode, and you're fine. Don't have to rev it up real loud and let everybody know you're there. You know, just a little tap on the throttle, you'll feel the RPMs kick down, and then you're ready to roll. So, anyways, that's it for today. If you like this video, press the like button, and I hope that you'll subscribe to my channel to stay updated with videos as we bring them out. Bringing out a few more riding videos right now, and I'm hoping to have quite a few of those this year. I'm going to try to vary them up a little bit. I feel like I've been a little stagnant on a couple of them. Ooh, that is a nice bike. But I feel like I've been a little stagnant on a couple of them, and haven't done the greatest job of editing, so I'm working on that. And I hope that by the time I do my first Great Lakes run this year, we'll have all the bugs worked out and have some pretty good footage for you guys. But just as a final thought, I hope your day is great today. I hope you're able to get out and do something awesome. If you don't have a bike and you're interested, I encourage you to go out, go to a dealership, sit on a few bikes, try them out, because it is an awesome thing to be able to throw your leg over a bike and ride back and forth every day to work, or just throw your leg over a bike in general and just ride. It is a lot of fun, and it's an awesome thing to do every single day. So anyways, backroads riding, ending this episode of the Daily Slab. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you in the next episode.